Well, hello there guys and welcome back to the channel everybody. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day. You guys had a great week and we are back again right here right now with Mandalorian. Now we did have a new update, our new Shang-Chi challenge, Summer of Pain has concluded and a whole bunch of things have happened. So first and foremost, let's say hello to Mando, and then let's start on.
Hey, what's up, everybody? What's up, KT?
How have you been?
I've been okay. How have you? I know you've been busy, huh?
Oh yeah, like for me, now, like, it's the final countdown till the big move. We have moving one coming on Saturday. So I'm still going down that new place like every day, and so much to do, not enough time. And well, at this point, it's quite clear that we're gonna have a ton to do even after we move. Like, I'm not gonna manage to put in the carpet and stuff, and
yeah, important thing is getting everything over there, and then it's like figure that stuff out afterwards.
yeah.
But yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
Absolutely
Well,
exhausted. I feel like I've been pulling like double or triple shifts everywhere because I wake up early, do the stream, go over there, play away there, like all the time, or like, and then come home, like make a video or do the stream. Then in the evening, we're browsing, like either Amazon's or IKEA or whatever else. Spend a fortune in IKEA, like yesterday. Pretty much all the furniture is gonna be from IKEA in the new place.
yeah. Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, just as a quick reminder to everybody, this isn't quite a regular type of stream where, we try to answer all the questions. We do read the chat, but we will not be answering like rank up questions and things like that. All of those questions are better asked in, Arena or Cab Quest streams and things like that. But as far as it goes for Aegon in Labyrinth, yes, Aegon can do Electro extremely well. Don't worry about it. As long as you're over 500 combo, you'll be fine. But let's actually start with the topics then. And the first one is, well, we're going to be talking about the state of the game in general. And the bugs and the updates or lack thereof, and, all the other good stuff.
I think that, I mean, we kind of touched on this a lot last week, but since then,
nothing has changed. Nothing has improved.
Well, yeah, I would say nothing changed in the game itself, but more about what changed in like Kabam not being silent and choosing their person to kind of speak with us was not ideal. I know you made a video on it. I agree with a lot of it. I'm going to try and play devil's advocate on the opposite side of it, not because I agree with it, but because I know there are some people that may think this way, and I think it's probably best if I kind of say that kind of stuff, just so that way it makes it a topic that we could talk about,
Yeah.
But also just, I mean, not just to focus on that, but it's just the fact that we have not heard any meaningful update, even to tell us that they're still working on it or anything. I mean,
yeah, well,
an update saying they're working on it would be nice.
Yeah, well, it's not just that. It's the entire combination of.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, the language used in here is like I'd be singing it from the rooftops, and it's not harder, and it's like, of course it's not. And then he's saying like the communication like has been really good. Yeah, it was good until it absolutely stopped. He's referring to this post that was posted on 11th of August.
We praised them.
Yeah, exactly. We praised them for weeks. Like, they're giving the updates, they're sending the compensations, they're letting us, this is gonna happen, stuff like that. And then that was it. They kind of like, as soon as that hotfix thing kind of went live, I understand that it's not true. I understand that probably somebody's getting shot at Kabam and, they're trying their best. But here's the thing. I do not get the impression that there's that urgency. Even if it is, they haven't done anything to display. Like, when I was working in a bigger company, let's say, if I was facing an issue like this, I remember very well, we had a problem with a stock deck. And I was kind of in charge of it, and, we had a lot of data input imperfections, and I had to basically investigate a ton of it before I could actually upload it. And whilst that was not done, the entire business basically had to sit on hold. So and the company was quite big. So the company was like over 100 people, like 150 people. It was like a fashion company. And until I could do that, majority of those people were basically waiting on me. And every single day, everybody got bigger and bigger backlog of work and stuff like that. And there was a ton of work. And I was pulling my hair out. And I was working till 3 a.m. I was literally the only person in that building at like 3 a.m. stuff like that. And the problem was because it was a delicate issue where you needed to have a ton of very specific knowledge, which, you know, almost nobody did. There was like maybe one or two people who could occasionally help me with something that are like, you know, from either IT department or accounting or stuff like that. But the point was,
Right.
for 4 days after an end of a grueling stock take, because that was already very, very hard thing in that company, and I took part in organizing it and stuff like that. After all that, I was dead. I was knackered. But I was still staying till 2, 3, 4 a.m. I still remember, like, you know, yeah, getting taxi at like 3 a.m. back from that place home, and waking up at like 6 or 7 a.m. and getting back to work and carrying on, because I knew that I had like hundreds and hundreds of people waiting. In this case, I have thousands and thousands and thousands of players waiting.
Yeah.
And I cannot say that I feel anything similar. I cannot say that they are projecting the idea of, you know, somebody chugging down copious amounts of Red Bulls and trying to work this out. After this,
that's, I think.
so yeah.
No, I think that's the issue. Is there's a difference in communication up to the hotfix, and then what happened after the hotfix.
Exactly.
And the post that was most recently made by Kabam Mike in the forums, where he basically was saying those things. He was, one, trying to throw a pity party for himself and all the developers and everything, and two, also saying that, you know, they have nothing else to share. That's a lie. There has to be some new information since a month ago. Even if it's, you know what, we've ruled out this, this, and this, or we found these issues, because not only is the Parian Dex an issue, we're having disconnects, we're having where we go into a fight and it just times out.
Higher.
Lag problems, like when you're in a fight and all of a sudden your fighter just like freezes up. Doesn't matter what device you're on, it's happening.
There's different timing on special attack and knockdown recovery, like Ghost can't face recall anymore.
Yeah.
And that's not a problem with Ghost, it's a problem with how long the animation kind of like keeps you suspended or whatever. There's clearly an issue with hitboxes now, which is the reason why a lot of attacks kind of like whiff in front of your face when like you quake or something else.
Yeah. And the other thing I was going to say too, they've done the ease of compensation for the AQ for a month, but it didn't really need to stop.
Oh yeah, that
they
AQ compensation
even though
100% has to come back.
It needs to come back.
100%.
But, and someone made a good point about this too. You know, they've done the war ones now. We get that at the beginning of each week. It seems to be doing that as of, we don't know how long that's going to continue going on. But incursions is affected, and incursions have the most expensive health potions. And I, in fact, did it and got disconnected the other day. And I don't even do incursions. I just did it for those special objectives the end of last month. And the fact that I went into a fight and it just waited, and then said disconnected and lost 50% health, that's a Kabam issue. That's not anything to do with my device or my game.
Well,
and they're not doing anything to...
At that point of hotfix, it's one point is that the communication has completely stopped. Like, dropped dead. Up until that point, they were doing well. And you really do get that impression that at least on a superficial level, they have once like, job's done, when job's really not done, when the house is still on fire, when the game is still unplayable. And the second thing is that with that hotfix update, they restarted all the content, which is clearly a financially driven decision. Because up until
it's 100%,
the life was basically
financially driven,
and then they restarted everything with games still working and shit. So basically, like Alliance War Season, they stopped Alliance War Season in the middle and said the game's too shit to have an Alliance War Season. The game is still just as bad, and they started the next Alliance War Season. It's like, obviously, it doesn't make sense, right?
That's one thing. The other thing too,
it's still the rest of the content in there, right?
Yeah, with Kabam Mike saying, the show must go on. I understand you have a game that has to
They need to make
continually
money. The show must
evolve.
go on means they
But
need to keep making money. That's what the show must go on is.
yeah, but you gotta, here's what
There's
I would expect. I would expect not no. I don't necessarily say we need to have emergency maintenance, but why can't we have scheduled maintenance every Tuesday where they're doing something? They should be able, because we've only had like maybe 2 in the last month, where it's
I
been
don't
scheduled
necessarily
maintenance.
think it's the maintenance issue here. It's with the game engine and things like that. But I do think then first and foremost we absolutely must have weekly or bi-weekly updates. 100%.
Yeah, even if it's just this
100%.
is what we're rolling out.
Yeah, exactly. This is what we worked on. This worked. This didn't. This is coming. This isn't coming. Whatever. Can't tell me that if somebody like when you're actively working on something, you get news. Maybe not major, massive breakthroughs, but you do get news every day. This is what I sorted
Yeah.
out. This is what we can't sort out. This is what's wrong, but we don't know yet. But we have ruled out that. Whatever. You get news and developments every single day. Second of all, it's not just about what they have done or haven't done. It's also to keep us updated with what will be happening in the game, what will not be happening in the game. Anyways, there have to be updates. As simple as that. There also has to be a bigger dev diary post very, very, very soon. Because if we look up the previous dev diary post, there's still so much that they haven't done. They promised by end of the year. So they have less than 3 months to introduce gears, to introduce strikers, to introduce alliance raids, to introduce solo competitive mode, and whatever else there was. There are like 5, 6 massive things that are marked in us before 2021. And we should be able to at least know what will come and what won't come. Because until they say otherwise, the expectation is all of it's coming. But, at this point, it's also stupid to expect that all of it will come because there's no way they can add that much in the game when the game is in the state it is.
One, we know they're not going to because obviously this issue has delayed a lot of that, whether they admit to it right now or not. But two, every time they add something to the game, it's always messed up upon release.
Exactly. So if they add something
to add
now,
3 new things, and have it just
it's not 3, it's like 5 or 6.
Well, I'm just saying, even if they were to add 3 things, let's say before the end of the year, each one of those is probably going to cause an issue somewhere, and they're going to have to fix it. And so that's why, if I'm Kabam Mike, maybe he's not allowed to say anything, but I think I'd be pushing back. I'd be pushing back saying, look, we need to say something. Yeah. We need to. And I think that's where he doesn't come across as a pro
he
player.
Genuinely doesn't come across like somebody that cares for the players. He comes across like somebody who cares for himself and, easier day at work. But I don't want to dig into too much in the guy. I think I already did enough damage on that front with the video that I made.
But no, I mean, and that's what I was going to say. On the flip side of it, everything he said is accurate, I would say. Okay, and this is what I mean by it. I mean, I don't think he lied in here, except for maybe the fact he may not be telling us the truth about there's no updates right now. But the thing is, let me finish. The thing is if you're looking at it from a non-biased place, everything he said may be accurate, but his way of communicating and the words he used and the way he kind of just naturally comes across as condescending, I don't think he's the one that needs to deliver this message.
But that's not entirely the issue. It's like, obviously he would be thinking like that. Like, what he said is only part of the problem, but on the same time, what he said is something he should be saying on his inside voice. Yeah. It's not the message you want to bring to thousands of people. We are the ones affected most. Like, well, no shit, it's your fucking job. It's like, that's how it should be. That's the kind of thing you're supposed to be thinking when you're pissed off, when you're sulking, when you're mumbling to yourself, when you're annoyed, when the boss is whooping your ass. Those are the type of things that go through your head. Again, on your inside voice. That is not what you write up in public.
And the problem
obviously
is
the choice of words and expressions and everything else. As I said, if I started the sentence like that, I'd be sleeping on couch like immediately.
He needs honest truth, he needs to just take 3 months off
Probably.
and not reply to anything and let someone else take the reins, because right now I'm seeing that his frustration is he doesn't like that he can't, or it doesn't have the information to communicate, and he's taking it out on us as the player base that's being vocal because we're frustrated.
Yeah.
That's what's happening.
And that's the thing. And again, I don't want to dig into the guy, but it's it's definitely not something he should have wrote in the way he wrote it. But back to the more constructive point. So I do think there are new developments every day, every other day, definitely every few days or every week, and they have to keep us updated every week or every 2 weeks. There has to be a post with, I don't know, checkboxes, estimations, plans, type of thing. Second, I do think at this point they have to release a massive dev diary, letting us know where the game is headed in general. Because with all of these things, everything that we knew and assumed that we know is kind of up in there. Like, we can quickly go to the dev diary. I'll find it. It should be in like 3rd page now, I think. From before, and there's just so much that they haven't delivered. There's just so much left over. That has marked for two. So if the echo is a bit too much, sorry, my bad. I'll lower mine a bit. That's my stubbornness and refusal to wear headphones. It should be better now.
It's okay.
It should be better now. Okay, so just out of the top of the head, for instance, Chapter 3, is it coming in October? Or should it come in October with the game in its state? Like, you know what I mean? The game is fudged. Will you be forcing players through 7.3? Then we have November, back issues 8. Then after that, we have Prologue Initiative. Oh, Integral is coming. What's try? Oh, that's interesting. That is interesting. But thank you, Integral. Thank you very much.
It's Turkish lira.
Turkish lira. Very good. Very good.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Interesting money.
I've seen it once before. That's why I know. It's basically equivalent to like $11.
Very good. I'll add it to the Move and Furniture Fund. We had like a very interesting stream in the morning where people were messing around with this. But thank you very much, Integral. And we have this Prologue Initiative where they haven't really done much. But okay, that's for newer players, that's fine. Can wait, I guess. Game modes, Alliance War. Well, Alliance War in general is in a very, very, very rough shape. But whatever. Solo competitive mode, 2021. Is it coming? Is it not coming? It's happening. A brand new game mode is coming to the contest, and our goal is to deliver it in 2021. Draft battles over there. Will it be here? Will it not be here?
Take my money.
The Integral
probably not.
Who knows?
Map 8. Map 8 is supposed to come out in next 2 months.
That's not going to come out.
Well,
that's not going to.
They're saying fall. Fall means September, October, November, right?
Yeah.
Which means it's not coming this month. It means it ought to come out within the next 2 months. Will it come?
Next 2 months.
That's a very simple question. They said it's coming in fall. Is it? Alliance Raids, that's coming 2022. Okay, not this year. Next year. Progression. Masteries 20. Relics 2021. Are they actually coming? Where they are coming?
I would say that's been put on the back burner most likely.
Maybe, but it would be good to know.
Yeah, I know. No, we need updates on this stuff.
Exactly. Strikers 2021. What is happening with Strikers? They
I don't think
with
that's
Relics,
happen.
and they're linked with the solo competitive mode. All of those 3 things. Are they actually coming? Or once again, they're not delivering on what they promised? Refreshed UI. Improved quest maps. Project Genesis. We did get the preview stuff, but we still didn't get the improved maps and refreshed UIs and usability.
No, I think they actually... They
did one tiny thing off it.
Well, they did, because they made you where you can actually look at the map beforehand and choose your team based on that. I think that's some of that. I think we're seeing some of the
But we need updates on all of this, because there is very little time left. And, I would like, and it's important to know, like, if map 8 is coming in fall, that literally means within the next 2 months, which also means I would like to be prepared. I would like to hoard X amount of catalysts or potions or whatever, for instance, to be ready to rank up who I need to rank up in order to be able to do it well, and stuff like that, you know. All of it is important. All of it is very, very important. And
yeah, I agree.
so those are the first two things, right? And third thing is they need to send out weekly revive over their packages.
Yeah, they need to do something better.
And they need to send back Alliance Quest stuff. The game is still not like, they were sending out Alliance Quest, you know, packs for everybody for like 5 or 6 weeks. Then they released hotfix that fixed nothing and stopped them.
Yep.
And now people are still dying for random whatever reasons. But they're sending out Alliance war packages. You know, when a significant portion of alliances don't even play war seriously, but they do play Alliance Quest.
If anything, they should be given generics where they can use an Alliance Quest or Alliance
Exactly.
War.
So Alliance Quest compensation packages have to come back. That's like definitely they should have. If they stopped it for a week and saw that it has not gotten any better, they should have already been sending them out. The second, and then the next thing is that, yeah, they also do need to be sending out these generic, you know, revives and potions and stuff like that.
There's something I want to touch on. There's something I want to touch on too. July 27th. July 27th. I say that date because that was the last date we had level 1 revives in the loyalty store.
Ooh.
We have not had level 1 revives that can be used in either Alliance Quest or Alliance War in the loyalty store since July 27th of this year. So it's been over a month. In addition to that, if Kabam was really trying to ease the pain and make money, they also haven't released any of the Alliance Quest, Alliance War packs that they sell for like £20 or $20 in the store, even with all this happening. Now, they could be called pieces of crap for selling those, but at least that would be cheaper than what they are as units, and people could have the option to buy those.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of shitty stuff that could be fixed really easily if they did both those things. But the fact that there's been multiple posts on the forums, and myself even put one up and gave detailed information, and of course it tried to be derailed by Chels immediately, saying, oh, it's RNG. If you don't understand RNG, RNG doesn't mean it's going to be gone for 40 plus days.
Yeah.
And not only that, Kabam has patents that prevents that type of RNG.
Yeah.
But let's think of it this way. We're on the 5th right now, about to be the 6th of September. So let's go ahead and say 6 because it's not going to be until tomorrow when they update the deals.
Yeah.
So that's 36, 37, 38, 39... 41 days we have not had level 1 revives in the loyalty store. That's a problem.
That is a problem, yes.
We used to get it like once a week, once every 2 weeks at least. The last time we had it on the 27th, they had it like 3 days prior on the 24th also. But before that, it was like 3 weeks. So this is the longest time we've ever had to wait for level 1 revives to be in the store, and they're not giving them.
Oh, it's just one of those might as well kind of things. But yeah, anyways, that is the lay on the land. And genuinely, people are growing more and more frustrated. And that's the thing, like, the longer this carries on, the better they have to be in mitigating the negative impacts of it. You know, if this issue would have lasted for a week, it wouldn't be such a big deal. You know, not as many people would have minded. And then it lasts second week. Then more and more people get pissed off, and then last third week, and now it's been like this is going in like the third month.
Yeah, go to the third month. Like I said, there's just too much. But
and when it goes on for so long, they have dropped all the communication, which is the exact opposite of what they should be doing. If it was lasting for like 2 weeks, then, you know, it wouldn't be as much of a pressure on them to actually kind of like assure the players and everybody else. But the longer it lasts, the better they have to do to make sure the players stick around. Because there are so many people. There's so many people that are taking a step back, that are leaving, have left. Some of them will come back, some of them won't come back. Tons of people have randomly parked their accounts and, you know, retirement alliances, whatever, and just playing different games. And in general, and again, that is a big fudging problem.
Yeah.
And everybody likes to throw these big words out, boycott or the game's dying, stuff like that. Again, the game's big enough to sustain decline in player base for quite a while. The game is big enough to lose 1,000 players and, you know, not die, or 2,000 or 3,000 players. The problem is when these downward trends are prolonged. And Kabam's biggest problem is the game wasn't exactly flourishing in the first 2 quarters before this crap started. The game already was underperforming quarter 1, quarter 2 significantly. Their earnings were 3 to 4 years back. Their earnings were at their 2016, 2017 levels, right? Which is like 2-3 years in the span of the game. They continue to grow steadily in 2018, 2019, 2020 was the best year ever. They broke all the records for themselves. And then they fell off the ledge with the release of new Marvel games and stuff like that. And that happened before all of this mess. That happened from January, February, March, with them releasing crap champions, them pushing MROC characters or whatever else, and them not releasing any interesting content. Then they tried to bounce back with spring cleaning and whatever else, and that pushed them slightly back more up, but it was still lower. It was still significantly lower than, you know, past 3 years. And now we have this, and obviously it's going to hurt their sales figures, and it's going to hurt the amount of people playing this game. All of that thing adds up, and and I'm not the kind of person that panics easily, but if you don't agree that right now, today, the game is in as shaky situation as it has ever been, maybe barring 12.0.
Yeah.
That, you know, I can't help you then. Because financials are showing significant decline before this shit show. Anecdotal evidence is mounting day to day. I hear from dozens of people at this point every other day leaving the game. I legitimately hear at least 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Thank you for your content. It was awesome. Helped me so much, but I'm leaving the game because it's shit. And that's not stopping. And I hear more and more and more. And some of my moderators have left the game. Many of my moderators are taking a significant step back. You know, it is real. It is happening. And the fact that Kabam can go a month without proper update, it's not encouraging, to say the least. I don't want to kind of pretend that I know everything or I would have done everything perfect. But this is extremely volatile time for the game. If the game does not start moving or equalizing the flow of the players, because right now, make no mistake, MCOC is losing much more players than it's gaining. And if the game...
Yeah, I would say it's probably 5-1 right now.
Probably somewhere. Well, I don't have the numbers, but if the game does not start closing that gap and equalizing it and pulling it back up with exciting champions, with exciting events, with, you know, exciting new game modes. We haven't received new game modes since Incursions, and Incursions, in my opinion, is, well, quite shit. And it's kind of like, I don't know, Marmite, I guess, acquired taste, whether you like it or you don't, but as far as I know, majority of the people don't care for Incursions. Kind of side mode. It was, as far as I'm concerned, a waste of time. After Incursions, we need to go back like 5 years to a new game mode, which is Alliance Wars. We need new game modes. We need new, fresh things, ideas in the game. We need new, fresh mechanics in the game. Because think about it. We have Evade, we have Miss, we have Unstoppable, we have Auto Block. That's just about it. Right?
Yeah.
And they need to figure out something else. Root was an idea that wasn't overly well received, but it's something. At this point, I'd rather take Root, you know, than nothing. And
Oh, don't you know the new thing? Don't you forget, we got the new thing. It's what is it? The true what is it called now? True focus or
that's not new
whatnot?
thing.
Yeah,
It's
that's
just
the new
like
thing.
that screws everything over.
I'm just
The new
joking.
thing
I'm
is
joking. It's shit.
your champions don't work anymore in case of
Your
like
champions don't. Well,
Nimrod
they don't
and
work anymore
Penny
no
and stuff like
matter
that.
what. Yeah.
You know, true strike, true accuracy
Yeah.
doesn't work. She can auto block heavy attacks and all that crap. That's bullshit. That's creatively bankrupt. That's
Yeah.
literally what it is. That's when you can't figure out anything new. That's what you do. You say that nothing counts because I make the rules, and that's what they did with Penny. That's similar thing what they're doing with Nimrod and stuff like that. That's literally being called creatively bankrupt. There can be a new mechanic, right? There can be, I don't know, flight or something, where champions that fly, they can activate their flight. You know, imagine how cool would be that if the champion would actually have another axis of fighting, and then some attacks would miss or something. They need to keep working on new things in the game, or it will be left behind. We need new game modes. We need new ideas in battle mechanics, like unstoppables, like auto blocks, like whatever else. You know.
Yeah.
And without those, this game will be left behind.
Yeah, I know. It's just gonna be left in the dust. I think we pretty much talked about
But
this
yeah,
a lot.
that is it. That is where I am. Just to kind of sum it up, what I would like the BAM to do right now. Number one, start posting weekly or bi-weekly updates on what's happening with this whole game engine stuff. But two,
yeah,
we need a massive dev diary covering all the things that they promised and haven't delivered. Number three, we need our alliance packages back because the game is nowhere near fixed. And number four, we also need some generic, you know, refills, revives, kind of type of stuff being given to us. Ideally, in some a bit more clever format that would prevent them from expiring immediately. Maybe temporarily increase the item cap to double to whatever it is for all the resources, you know? Can't be that hard. Just change the item cap and then, you know, they wouldn't be expiring. See? Very easy solution. Will somebody do it? No. Why? Because either they are creatively bankrupt or don't give a shit. Either way, they need to do more and they need to actually appear that they're trying. Maybe they are trying. I believe that they are trying their best. I genuinely want to believe that. I want to believe that behind the scenes there are a group of very poor, dedicated programmers drinking their 15th Red Bull today and trying to fix it. I don't know about that, but I want to believe that. But they need to show us. They need to let us know. They need to tell what's happening. Right, let's move on to the second point.
Let's say we talked about it last week, and it ended up coming 24 hours later almost.
Yeah.
Maybe a little over, which was the compensation as promised in August, came on the second to the last day it possibly could, and it was progression based. And overall, what did you feel about it for Thronebreaker?
What did I feel for Thronebreaker? Again, I do think that there are 2 to 3 different groups of Thronebreaker players when it comes to the compensation. For me, on a personal level, you know, I wasn't blown away by it, but at the same time, I didn't really miss out on much. As in, like, I still completed all the content as I normally do. And you know, it's neat. You know, 6-star Nexus Crystal, it's neat. It's nothing kind of like to jump in there being super happy at my progression level. And at the same time, I didn't really miss out on much. The biggest thing that you could say I miss out on is because Alliance War season was delayed. I'm kind of like missing my Alliance War rewards or having that pushed back. So I'm fine with it. I wasn't like upset. Do I think it's great compensation? No. Do I think Thronebreaker players should have gotten about double that and more rank up resources? Yeah. Because I think that they should have went with temporary content that people might not have explored. Because I know a lot of people who didn't do cav EQ or like uncollected EQ, and or I know a lot of people who didn't do like side event quest stuff and things like that. And I do think that that is what they should have based the compensation on. As in, like, we had like 2 solid months at that point of these issues happening, where that means that there's like 15,000 6-star shards in KVQ alone, plus another about 15,000 6-star shards in side events. I think that should have been about 30,000 6-star shards. 5 stars, kind of like whatever. Add a few, don't add a few. I personally don't care too much, but I do think that every Cav and or Thronebreaker player should have gotten at least like half a tier 5 CC in some forms or effects, because again, KVQ awards 10% Nexus Crystal, side events award about 20% tier 5 CC. There are people who are unable to play map 7, especially now that the weekly packages have been stopped. So I don't think it was that great. I know there were a ton of people super happy about it, which is fair. And again, on a personal level, you know, I'm kind of whatever. I genuinely don't care that much about compensation. I want the game to be fixed. But do I think this compensation hit the spot for everybody? Absolutely not.
Yeah, I don't think that. I mean, and going by my baby account, we got half a 6-star 5,000 shards, and we got a Nexus 5-star, and then most of the same other stuff. I think it was okay. I don't think any of it. It was the best compensation that has been given to date based on progression levels, but I don't think it was the right compensation to give at this point in time. Maybe after everything was fixed, there needed to be more things that came into play with the game that we are dealing with. Again, there was nothing to do with incursions for people that do that. There was nothing to do. There should have been some more like refills for
Oh yeah, definitely.
arenas. Arenas would have been nice. You know, they have those potions which we never see ever again. They could have given dual crystals more, you know, stuff that we don't really see that often. The reason why I say that, you want to be able to allow some of these solo objectives and stuff that maybe people didn't have the time to do because the time they tried to do it, the game wasn't working right or whatever. It gives them the opportunity to actually get those, or you're going to give them the rewards from that. But I don't feel that any of the rewards were actually based on stuff missed, kind of like what you said. I think it was more
I
based
think
on.
the most noticeable absence there was like rank up resources that people have been missing out. Like for Thronebreakers, they
Yeah.
only gave like 10% tier 5 CC selector, and I'm like, so it's just shit. That's drip in the ocean. It really,
Exactly.
really doesn't do much for anyone. And yeah, as I said, like if you're a Thronebreaker player who, let's say, used to play map 7 but has moved back to like map 5 or something, because you know the game's
Right.
unplayable, they stopped the compensation. You're like one of those earlier Thronebreaker players where maybe you just don't have the willpower to push through KVQ anymore, and you're missing out your 10% tier 5 CC. Then in general, I do feel that there should have been like 3 to 5 tier 5 basic catalysts, like I don't know, 8, 10 tier 2 alphas. I do feel that there should have been some tier 4 CC selectors, and you know, some more tier 5 CC fragment bits and things like that. I generally don't think, and I know that a lot of people are super happy with it, which is fair. Like, you know, as long as you're happy, you know, I'm happy for you.
Yeah.
But
Exactly.
if the question is, do I objectively think the compensation is fair and has it adequately done what compensation is supposed to do, as in like compensate you for either what you missed out on or for extra level of frustration or whatever people have gone through? Absolutely not.
Yeah, I agree with that. 100%. So, conversation is basically that the compensation came out, wasn't what we were looking for.
At least it
Disappointment.
came out before Summer of Pain ended.
That's the one good thing, but at the
Yeah.
same time, it was coming out the nth
Yeah,
hour
it says like,
of that, you know.
what is it,
I
like
don't know.
36 hours before Summer of Pain ended? Something like that.
Yeah, it wasn't very good at all. So anyway, long story short, nah, fam. So that's that. So Summer of Pain, we just mentioned that it's over now. So overall, what did you feel about Summer of Pain, the finale?
Again, and again, like, Summer of Pain, I liked a lot. Obviously, Summer of Pain was arguably the most rewarding temporary content in the history of the game. If you put together the 9-week, like, those milestone rewards plus the finale event and plus finale quest rewards and everything else, then in between all of that, I believe we got like 156 signature stones from Summer of Pain event, and we got what, 2, 3, 3.5 tier 5 CC in selectors, and just an absolute heap ton of cards and catalysts in general, stuff like that. So it was like the most rewarding temporary piece, the most rewarding piece of content in general. I think Summer of Pain rewards are actually significantly more better than Abyss exploration is.
Yeah.
And so the rewards department wise, I don't want to be that guy. I actually think they overdid it a bit, especially considering how messed up the game is right now. Because it definitely made for one more of those feels bad moments where people are missing out if you can't complete it because of all of these game issues, and then you see that there are so many people getting all this stuff. I think that ultimately was the biggest problem with Summer of Pain, that it was ongoing now with the game problems.
Yeah.
I think that kind of ruined the event. Other than that, I would put Summer of Pain as like pretty much my either the favorite or maybe second favorite event, because I think Grandmaster's Gauntlet was amazing. But because it was happening right now with all the game problems, it just leaves a huge, huge, huge stain on the entire thing. Because you always need to talk in context of it. Because starting from week 4, these issues have been going on until like week 11.
Yeah.
And
it's basically we had Summer of Pain with issues, so it was more of a pain for most people.
But as an event itself, I do feel like starting. Okay, so weeks 1 to 9, I do think it started out strong. I do think weeks 4, 5, and 6 were kind of meh, with meh objectives. Those are the Darkhawk, Venom, and Adaptoid fights. I do think last 3 fights kind of brought it back. Last 3 fights were more interesting. I enjoyed them more. That was the Ghost Emma and Symbiote fights. As a final quest, I liked it a lot. I don't think Grandmaster was the right boss choice, however.
No, I think that was kind of a missed opportunity.
I don't think Grandmaster was the right boss. Was the best way to put it, especially right now, keeping in mind how much game issues are affecting the game. And here's the thing, I think in another time it might not be perfect boss choice, but it would be kind of like, fair enough. But the problem with Grandmaster is where you either do everything perfect and do a ton of damage, or you waste a lot of time. As in, like, he has 10 million health, but you do vast majority of damage in those short bursts. If because of game issues you don't evade at level 1, you don't get to that wounded phase. If because of dex issues or parry issues you miss parry or whatever else, then that attempt is effectively wasted. It's kind of similar in the sense of like Champion, for instance. I don't think would be a right boss choice right now because you can't actually chip him down. You either do damage or you don't. And Grandmaster is very similar in a sense where if there are no game issues, a person could do it 1, 2, 3 revamps, whatever, if everything's working smooth. But as soon as there is a problem with dexing, that count can go up not by 2, 3, 4, or 5. That count can go up by 10, 15, 20, 30. Because, again, you don't deal damage until you get to the wounded phase. And if you have a problem getting to the wounded phase, then you have done nothing, basically. So I don't think it was a good boss choice, especially with the game issues happening right now. All in all, though, I did like that one.
Yeah, and I kind of agree. Everything was pretty much the same. I felt like the last 2 weeks of it, except for the Grandmaster being the boss, everything else was kind of nice to go back through.
I like the class thing where people were strategizing and stuff like that. I made that sheet to help people out a bit, like, you know, to plan their paths and stuff like that.
Definitely was fun. It was fun in that aspect. It was just when you got to the last point, it was meh.
Yeah, and generally, I just don't think Grandmaster should be in there. I think
the rewards.
Grandmaster would have been a better fight, or just
I was gonna say
altogether.
I'm surprised they didn't do Gwynmaster or even just go back to Gwynperion, which would have been nice too.
Or something like that. I just genuinely don't think the Grandmaster was
even Maestro would have been cool.
Yeah, it could have been Maestro. It could have been one of the nameless Thanoses. They had like 3 of them, something like that.
Yeah. Well, we've seen that recently, so I would like to see something that we haven't seen in a while.
Well, fair enough than Gwynmaster or Gwynperion or whatever else. But yeah. I mean,
but
I generally like Grandmaster fight, but the problem is, I liked it a hell of a lot less this time around because of all the dexing and parry and whatever issues. And I genuinely felt a huge difference.
Right. Well, what I will say is that overall the event was marred just because of the issues in the game.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's a huge thing. And that's why I think as soon as they fix it, they should bring back it for people that started or didn't finish or something like that. They need to figure something out, because it is a huge feels bad moment, because so many people would have done it all or would have done much more of it if not for these game issues.
Yeah. So the other thing we want to talk about is we have a new event this month now, the Shang-Chi's Close Quarters Challenge. So there's 2 chapters to it, kind of like we've seen in the past, where the first chapter is a bunch of different paths gradually building up, nodes and PI and such. And then, of course, we have chapter 2 where you have to do all the paths in one run. I'm going to be honest with this event for Throne. I think it is based on your progression level, first off. For people that have been Thronebreaker a while, or maybe even a top Thronebreaker, the second half, the chapter 2, is not worth it for the difficulty versus the rewards, in my opinion.
Well, okay, so first of all, have you done it?
I've done everything but the last, and that's because I know I need to bring Corvus if I want to have a chance of not just wasting revives, and he's in Alliance Quest. So I'm going to do it after I'm done with Alliance Quest Monday.
Yeah, fair play.
But, I mean, that's the problem that I have with it, is that it is very specific to certain champions you have to have. I've heard Hercules does really well.
No, he does do as well. I did try him out, and I am still putting together a guide for him. And this honestly is in history of ever one of the stupidest events to put a guide in for, because there's one champion, and then there is unit man, credit card man, and
that's what I was gonna say. It really is, if you don't have a Corvus, you pretty much are gonna be spending a lot of revives.
Even if you have like second best counter, it's gonna be a massive difference. But okay, so first, so what I think about the event and challenge. First things first, I do like the units in there. I think that's a very cool thing. In total, they actually do give you quite a lot of units there. So we have like 30 plus 60, so that's 90, 150, 210, and then in the second one is 120. So 330 units in this quest, of whom 210 you can get effortlessly. I do like that one a lot. I was pleasantly surprised, and I think that is a very, very cool thing.
Yeah, definitely.
For that, awesome. Like that. When it comes to the overall rewards for the effort, and I don't think the rewards are wrong or bad. I think the quest 2 is bad. The quest 2, by definition, is a badly designed piece of content, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Especially because the only viable option, the only properly viable option right now, is a champion who they themselves have been trying to discourage us to use, and specifically that one ability, which is the immortality, right?
Exactly.
And let me explain why I think there has been a huge oversight with this entire thing. Well, the end result of it is the obvious bit. The end result of it is it's Corvus or bust kind of thing. But the problem, the real underlying problem is why it happened is of the combination of the global nodes. Okay, so we can ignore the special attack, heal, block, whatever, that's fine. Close encounters is a node that forces you close to the opponent, right? That's a node that forces you to be aggressive, and effects that are passive, so there's not much you can do about it. So that's one of the key factors there. The second key factor is invade. What invade effectively does, it tells you can't parry.
Yeah, exactly.
That is what invade does. There are literally 3 champions in games that can use parry.
Yeah, mostly like Sunspot. If you have what do you call it on him?
Well, thank you very much.
On the opponent. That's all I was gonna say.
Thank you very much for the $5. Let me add $5 to the fund as well.
There you go.
And so we are getting to the root of the problem, right? So we have one node that is forcing us close to the opponent, which is the close encounters. Yeah? So we have one node that's pushing us close. We have second node that tells us that we die if we are close and if we parry. So that's not good. Right? And then we have a third node that takes away every single one of our alternate options that would enable us to stay close and be aggressive without parrying. Like you can't ghost, you can't Mr. Negative, you can't Elsa, you can't things like that would work otherwise.
Hell, you can't even kitty Pryde it because of the
Well, you can actually kitty Pryde it. Kitty Pryde is actually, ironically, I think second best option for this thing.
Oh, really?
Because she doesn't take any damage while you're phasing. So
that's right.
Whether you're going to nail the intercept or you're going to get hit. But if you get hit while you're phasing, you take no damage and you gain a crap ton of power. So I think Kitty Pryde is actually second best option here, which is even and more annoying if you think about it.
She's not even officially out. Right? Yeah, she's not even officially out.
Yeah.
You had to get her in the pre-access.
So I think that is the problem where we have, first of all, take away close encounters and the quest is fine. Take away
close encounters is horrible.
Take away invade and the quest is fine. It's just all 3 of these nodes put together make it so that there is basically no single great option except Corvus. And the only reason he is such a great option is because he not only crits on block, but because you can play infinitely with 1 HP because you're just not gonna die. Which is, again, need I remind you, an ability that Kabam has tried moving us away from for years now in Map 7. And they admitted themselves that they have been doing bad fight design where players have to resort to that. So this is again them basically kind of putting everybody in the foot. So I generally do think that out of all of these boss rushes, this is by far the worst fight design. I think whoever pieced this together is not very good at their job, or they had a very critical oversight.
Not only that, I think they don't play the game or don't understand the game enough
to
understand why it's so bad.
This node combination is going back 2 years to the worst ever habits of them, as in putting Act 6 on steroids. And again, I don't want people to misunderstand me. I like hard fights. I do all the hard content. I am glutton for punishment. I did this quest and I'll do it again or whatever else. But at the same time, this quest does not feel like a challenge. It feels like a toll. It feels like an offer.
No, yeah, I was going to say, it doesn't feel like a challenge. It feels like a punishment, and it feels like a cash grab. And I normally don't call things a true cash grab, but this looks like a cash grab if you don't have this champion, which they've been discouraging for the longest time.
Literally, by definition, where 1 champion, or you're going to use at least 5 to 10 times as many resources without that champion.
what it is, it's not even more difficult than Summer of Pain. It's just
yeah,
the
exactly. It's
rewards
not hard. It's stupid. Rule 34
yeah,
says.
it's not well thought out at all.
Yeah,
It's literally like it's almost like someone just threw stuff together.
exactly. It's
And
one of those things that pretty much unplayable at large degree. I will, however, try my best to do a stream before this goes away without Corvus to see how I do. But
I can do, yeah.
but I don't like this. I will make a guide for it tomorrow. I promise. I have been putting it away because I can't put a good guide on it because, like, let's say you can use Gambit as a horseman synergy and you can parry freely, but that doesn't make Gambit a great counter for like Tigra or Mr. Negative or whatever else, you know, because it's Gambit. He works, he can parry, but you still end up taking plenty of damage, kind of thing. And people saying A-gun, yeah, you can use A-gun. Obviously, A-gun can hit through block, but you'll still get degen to death. It's quite literally Corvus, or you're going to use at least 5 times the items. And it's not necessarily just the revives, it's also the fact that you don't have to heal up Corvus.
Yeah.
Namor Maxic does here nothing, really, because when you take damage, when you are far away, that means that Namor is not hitting the opponent and you're not reflecting it. Or you take damage when you parry, which is again another point in time when Namor
you're not
does
gonna
not
be doing
attack
damage.
and does not reflect damage. So Namor does nothing here. It's quite literally just the Corvus.
Yeah.
And then there are, again, several extremely subpar options, like Hercules is okay and kind of work where you basically do the best you can before immortality expires. And then you have Gambit, who can parry. And then you can kind of benefit from Guardian synergy with 3 perfect blocks. But none of it works well enough.
No.
And this quest in itself feels like a major letdown. It really does. It's Corvus, and that by definition, the way I look at it, that is by definition a bad piece of content, where only one cheese champion is a viable option. It's kind of like, imagine a quest where you can either quake it or you have to spend exorbitant amounts of revives. That's a bad piece of content, right? Because Quake is a busted kind of cheesy champion.
Yeah.
It's just not good.
I agree.
It's not good. And that is the thing. I don't think the rewards are wrong. I think the rewards are good. I think the quest is wrong.
And maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's just the quest being so wrong makes the rewards feel wrong.
Exactly,
as well,
because
maybe
the quest is ill thought out without proper counters. Because if you think about it, there's like 20% tier 5 CC, 15,000 6-star shots, tier 5 basic, and 3 tier 12, stuff like that. And the length of the quest is like 1 hour, less than 1 hour. It's very good for the time invested needed. It seems so shit because you're forced to die and be mad at it. If it would be a reasonable quest, like, these rewards are better than every other celebrity challenge before. John Mulaney challenge, for instance, originally was only meant to have 10% tier 5 CC selector and like 10,000 6-star shots, something like that.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So these rewards are like significantly better than that. And that challenge was longer because their final quest had like 6 paths or something.
I think it had 6 paths, yeah.
And this one had 3 paths. So no, the rewards are fine for the type of content this is. The problem is that they got the content itself so wrong.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. Well, hopefully they will do better. I don't think they're going to change it. There's been a lot of people asking for it to be
last
changed.
Comment is, I'm fucking tired of True Focus. I swear to fucking God. If you don't want people to ghost and quake, then, as I said in the video before, make a note saying no ghost, no quake, or whatever. I'm just fucking tired to see that note. I'm sorry for swearing at this point, but I have not a single good thing to say about how they are using True Focus.
True Focus has been horrible.
I swear to fucking God, those motherfuckers and their, I don't know, impotent brains. Genuinely, they know, they have said it, they have admitted that their problem is Ghost and Quake. But they actively choose at this point to fuck over half a dozen or several dozen more champions because of Ghost and Quake and Ghost.
Yeah, and that's stupid because people put their
Like
resources,
Mr.
especially.
I took Mr. Negative to rank 3 because of the way he finds openings and shit like that. And he's a
Yeah.
good chap. I haven't been able to use him in a single relevant piece of content because of that motherfucking shit. I ranked him, like,
Yeah.
he did really well for several mini bosses. For instance, the stunning reflection mini boss, right? You know? You can always find an opening. Mr. Negative. It's like, can't fucking use it. I am absolutely fed up. Every time I see True Focus these days, it's just how, like, involuntary fucking gag reflex working, right?
Yeah.
It's so honestly creatively impotent is the person who has to put True Focus everywhere. Like, he can't get his fucking, I don't know, brain working proper.
It kind of makes me feel even more frustrated because knowing what the state of the game is right now and they're putting True Focus on everything, it's like not only are you making it harder the game itself, but now you're eliminating champions that people have put the great resources into getting that champion and then also building up that champion and ranking them up and putting 6 stones and everything else. It's
I had
stupid.
75 6 stones expiring and my ghost is 660. Do you think I gave my ghost any 6 stones? Oh, fuck that for now.
Yeah, I mean that's the problem. It's just stupid. So I don't think there's more we can say on that. The last thing we do need to talk about is we did have the pre-release of Kitty Pryde. Now, have you had a chance to play along with her
Honestly,
at all,
no.
or any variation?
Honestly, I haven't.
Did you get her?
Huh?
Did you get her?
I do have her as a 3-star.
Okay.
I got one of them bundles.
Yeah.
And I do have her as a 3-star, but I actually didn't rank her up yet, and I haven't played with her at all. But I have seen quite a lot of gameplay and stuff. And since we are kind of like very nicely segueing from True Focus into Kitty Pryde,
yeah,
I find it quite disgusting that Kitty Pryde directly counters True Focus or any miscounters.
Well, remember I said that.
Yeah, I know. We joked about it. We gagged about it.
Because
but
of the fact.
Happened.
Yeah, because of the fact that we knew what was happening with True Focus, that there was going to be a champion, and I even mentioned, I said, well, she has this phase ability, she's going to be able to counter True Focus, and we joked, but it was true.
But it's true. 100% counters True Focus.
Stupid! And it's stupid. They create a problem and then invent a solution you got to buy.
You know, the thing is, True Focus is a node that by no means should be spammed, but they are spamming it, and now they released a champion that conveniently can effectively benefit from True Focus, because with True Focus nodes, you want to get hit whilst you're phasing, because you gain a ton of power and you can, like, you know, significantly improve your ramp up time.
Yep. I obviously couldn't afford any of the bundles, but the sigil, you know, gives us the opportunity to get them. So I tried to get the 4 to 6-star one, the Cavalier version. And I didn't get her. I got a 6-star void, so I was like, "Wow, that's a win." So just because I got a 6-star, I was like, "Well, I'm gonna try the Grandmaster." I tried the Grandmaster, and I got her as a 5-star. So I instantly ranked her up and max sig her.
Oh, I have a 5-star. Nice. Congratulations.
Thanks, but I haven't been able to play her because she's been placed on defense.
Ah, fair play.
But I'm gonna try and play her this week after War and Alliance Quest is over. I want to play her and test her out. I'm actually gonna bring her on my team with Corvus just to see how it does on this challenge. But yeah, I mean, I do think it's interesting that they're now creating solutions to problems they made, and I don't like that because then there's going to be something that bypasses Penny's auto block soon too. Maybe.
Oh, we already have the ability to bypass Penny auto blocks. The ability is called Undermine.
That's right. That's what I was going to say. And that's what Nimrod has, right?
No. Nimrod has Cowardice.
Oh, Cowardice. Okay. I knew he had one of the weird ones.
Cowardice is the thing that removes her promises.
Okay, that's what it was. Okay. I knew it was something. I was like, he had... I'm forgetting what all, but yeah.
So yeah, Cowardice is Nimrod and Psycho Man, only 2 champions have, and that's the only kind of like flat-out ability way how to counter her, actually. But
which is so insane.
There's War Machine, who's level 1, removes promises for each suppression debuff. So War Machine can be a really good counter. Over with Bishop Synergy, every time you knock her down, you take away all her prowesses, you gain prowesses of your own. That's a legit counter. And the way I beat her in Event Quest was using champions that don't crit. So I was using Crossbones and Guardian, and then pretend that she's stun immune. Because then she doesn't gain prowess, because she gains prowess whenever you stun her, and whenever you crit against her.
Yeah,
that's it. If you don't do those two things, unless she intercepts you or some other crap happens, then she will not gain prowesses. And that was my way of dealing with her. I just used like Guardian, for instance, because Guardian's obviously tech. You can get power gain, the cool block proficiency and stuff like that. And that the funny thing is, that cowardice is the way you deal with her prowesses. Nimrod will have that, and you will kind of have to get that Nimrod for most of the time, because let's face it, you're not going to use Psycho Man.
No, you're not. Do you want to know who I found amusingly really good for Kitty Pryde in the Cav quest? Black Widow Clairvoyant. Go into the Incinerate and then activate your special 3, and if you ever die, you just heal right back up.
Yeah, I heard that
she
dies.
She melts so quick. I did, I think, 2 special 3s and then just fought her, and she was dead.
You know how everybody said that Kitty Pryde's gonna be like huge pain in the defense?
Yeah.
And now people who are beating Kitty Pryde, and I've seen so many people kind of cocky and you're overestimating her, beat her easy, and she's like that. What most people don't realize, and I find this again very cheeky from Kabam and very gullible from people who think that she's gonna be easy to fight against.
Right.
What most people don't realize is that if you look at the quests,
Yeah.
Look at the quests. You know how the new champions are always the final 2 bosses?
Yeah, typically.
Pretty much always, almost always. And Nimrod is the final boss.
Yeah.
They put Kitty Pryde as the 3rd boss, and 3rd boss is significantly weaker with lower HP than higher bosses. So take a look at the PI and stuff like that from the 3rd boss.
It's not as high. Yeah.
It's 49k.
Yeah. It's definitely, people are not thinking, even the Cav, it's not that, it's just under 50.
Exactly, because she's the 3rd boss in Cav EQ.
Yeah.
And it was 49k PI boss, and then the Nimrod, where's Nimrod? Nimrod is 66, and
I think it's 60,
a huge chunk of that is in fact the extra health and attack. So a lot of people who beat her and it's it wasn't that bad. I struggled more with Purgatory the month before or whatever, the Spider-Man 2099 or whatever, something like that. Well, yeah, and that's because she's on an earlier map with lower attack mods and things like that.
Yeah, once you get past all that, if they would have put her on the last quest, or even on the second to last on 3.1 instead of 3.2.
So I genuinely do think that at the moment a lot of people are undeservingly overconfident when it comes to fighting Kitty Pryde.
I will say my kitty got a kill. So she can get people up. She's gonna trip people up.
She will be. She will be. But yeah, so that's the thing is. But in general, okay. So let's talk about her offensively. So from what I have seen, I don't think she's gonna be nowhere near as used as gold. I think she's gonna have a cult following. I don't think majority of the people are gonna bother. I generally don't, because I think it's gonna be quite tricky to use her well. And,
I am interested in trying to use her, though. I want to try and learn her.
From what I have seen, she's quite underwhelming without Suicide Masteries, comparatively
That's
speaking.
the issue I was worried about.
And she really, really benefits from Suicide Masteries, which, for me, it's kind of cool, but that automatically kind of puts her aside from quite a few players. And also, one of her most important synergies is Tigra, which again kind of creates a very unwelcome paradox until we have Mastery loadouts, where you typically don't want to play Tigra with recoil active, but you only want to play Kitty with recoil active. So kind of one of those things that is just, you know, many people don't think about, but practically it's kind of inconvenient when things never line up properly. But that put aside, that she will need synergies. I do think there's quite a lot of potential. I do like a lot of things that I have seen, but I think that she will be harder to play than Ghost and stuff like that. So she's automatically not going to be many players' cup of tea, so to speak. B, she's also significantly slower in vast majority of the scenarios, unless opponents are bypassing miss. If opponents are bypassing miss, then, you know, good. So that's going to be another thing where people are often not going to want to use her as her, like, you know, generic questing champion. You're not going to go Kitty, Pryde, random fights like you do with Corvus, Ghost, Omega, and stuff like that. So I do, however, overall like her, and I do want her, and I do want to learn how to play her, because I do think there will be quite a lot of unique things.
Yeah. I would love to see more of her. I'm gonna have to mess with her myself. And
definitely. I like the fact that she can tank level 3s.
That's really cool. I mean, obviously, if you have a really insane power gain node, or it's one of those nodes where, you know, they do special 1, special 2, and then special 3, she could tank the special 3 and then restart over again, which is kind of neat.
But I also think that a lot of people have a bit, what's the best I'd say, pink glasses on, because they find all the commonalities with Ghost, and they fail to acknowledge what really makes Ghost that good. The phasing thing is one great thing. Hey, what's up, Marine, by the way? But the things that make Ghost that good is because she converts all damage over time debuffs into Furies, gains a ton of damage. So that A basically Ghost is immune, pseudo-immune to all damage over time effects, which gives a huge, insane versatility, which is basically only thing Angela kind of has, you know? And Ghost has that too. And even better. And then obviously the fact that she doesn't rely on debuffs, prevents evade, and has guaranteed crits, and gains a ton of power faster in every matchups, and can easily spam level 2s and things like that. That is what makes Ghost what she is. Kitty is not that. Now, Kitty might be, you know, still very, very good, but ultimately, I think when we look at champions like Ghost and Quake, I think we all can agree that they were mistakes by Kabam.
Absolutely.
And I don't think that Kitty Pryde is a mistake. I'm seeing that.
No, she was thought out. She was very much thought out.
And I'll leave it there. I think Kitty Pryde has all the potential to be very, very good, but I don't think she's going to be, you know, broken.
She's not going to be broken, but I also feel like she's going to be similar. It's interesting that she's paired with Tigra, but she's going to be similar to Tigra. It's going to be a lot of skill needed to kind of play her correctly.
I would say, if anything, I kind of see more similarities with Tigra than I see with Ghost.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, that is it, and I think we have successfully had another episode of KT Time. What do you say, guys? Did you enjoy it? If you did, then why don't you go ahead and hit that like button, because we are going to be back next week again discussing all the new cool stuff. Next week, by the way, next Sunday, next week.
Oh, you give me the new place?
Next week, one of two things will happen on Sunday. Either there will be no KT Time, or I will be streaming from my new place.
Which
just saying.
Is exciting.
Moving.
I was gonna say, if we need to delay it a day, just let me know.
Yeah, well, we'll see how it goes. Hopefully I can sit down. But yeah, next week, next Saturday we have Moving One coming.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, so if we are streaming next Sunday, then that's gonna be from the new place. That means I will have to redo all the. That is the thing that I'm actually scared about the most. I'll have to disconnect everything, move it, and then you can add. There's so many wires and things, and Either way, for those of you who were inquiring, I will be streaming tomorrow morning. 100%. Unless it was, should be fine. But let's say huge thank you to Mando for keeping us company.
You're very welcome. Thank you all for having me, and thanks KT for
And
allowing me to be here.
yeah, I think next week I will be taking it easy, but week after we also can do midweek Shang-Chi challenge stream with no Corvus type of thing together. I think that could be quite
Let me
interesting.
know. Let me know. I can be there for that if you'd like.
But yeah, thank you guys, and I shall catch you soon. See ya.
Laters.
Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information about the Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information